Bioremediation is the waste management technique that involves the use of microorganisms in order to remove or neutralize the pollutions in the contaminated site. These technologies can be either classified as in situ or ex situ. In situ bioremediation involves the treatment of the contaminated material at the site, while the ex situ bioremediation involves the removal of the contaminated material to be treated somewhere else. However, not all contaminants can be treated easily by bioremediation using microorganisms. For example, heavy metals such as cadmium and lead are not easily absorbed or captured by microorganisms. Pollution is the harm that results because of the presence of a substance or substances in places where they should not be or in larger amounts than the quantity that is normal. Polluting substances can be either present as solid, liquid, or gases. Some of the substances that may cause pollution are nutrients, in which, when they are related to the water, these pollutions may be nitrogen, ammonia, phosphorus, and sulfur. Also, pesticides are very pollutants. This includes herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, and they are used in gardens and agriculture. Also, heavy metals have large amounts of polluting compounds, and they are extremely used in industry, and they can be found on the fuel, chemicals, waste materials, and batteries. And in high concentrations, they can be toxic for humans, animals, fish, and plants. Water may be treated differently in different communities depending on the quality of the water that gets into the plant. Groundwater water is located underground, and typically it requires less treatment than the water from the lakes, rivers, and streams. There are 5 steps in the water treatment process: coagulation, sedimentation, filtration, disinfection, and storage. The first step, which is coagulation, it is supposed to remove the dirt and other particles suspended in the water. Also, some chemicals are added to the water in order to form tiny sticky particles called flake. In the second step, these heavy particles, the flake, settle to the bottom of the container, and the clear water moves forward to the filtration process. The filtration is when the water passes through some filters in order to help to remove even smaller particles. Then the fourth step is the disinfection, and is when a small amount of chlorine is added or some other disinfection method is used to kill any bacteria or microorganisms that may be in the water. And then the fifth step is the storage, in which the water is placed in closed tanks in order to make the disinfection take place. The water then flows through the pipes in order to get to homes or business in the community. The use of bioremediation in pollution and water treatment is applied to produce drinking water from wastewater. When the water arrives to the treatment plant, the wastewater is screened to remove the paper, tree branches, or other stuff that will damage the bumps in the process system. Then 3 steps are next: the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary treatment. The primary treatment involves storing the wastewater in tanks, and then metal salts are added in order to make the solids cling together through a process called flocculation, and then they form a sludge at the base of the tanks. Then, in the secondary treatment, the residual water is pumped into the aeration tanks, where air is constantly injected and microorganisms are added in order to break down the remaining solids. And the tertiary treatment is when they remove the nitrogen through a process called denitrification.